Now we are going to talk about the piston cylinder. The piston cylinder is the main body that encloses the piston connecting rod, and it also supports the fuel that is being burnt. So it undergoes various changes in the temperature, so it must be light enough so that the overall weight of the vehicle is minimized, so that the performance of the vehicle is enhanced. Now if we talk about it, the material of its construction, it can be made of cast iron, it can be made of steel alloy, but mostly aluminum alloy is preferred for its construction. Aluminum alloy is preferred, the reason being that it is lightweight and it's good thermal conductivity. Now somebody may ask that why do we prefer aluminum over cast iron? So the reason is very much simple, that aluminum is of lightweight. Lightweight means less load. Less load means increased economy, and which means better performance. On the contrast, if we talk about the cast iron, the weight of the cast iron is heavy, so that increases the load, and thereafter as a result the economy decreases. So this is all about the piston cylinder. Next we are going to talk about piston ring. Piston rings. Piston rings, generally these are shaped like this. This is just a rough sketch. These are generally split rings, and they are not completely enclosed. They have certain opening at the end. Now what is the purpose of a piston ring? Piston ring are placed over the piston surface. Now the purpose of the piston rings is to seal the combustion chamber, the sealing of the combustion chamber. You will better understand this from this diagram. You know that the combustion is taking place here. So during the combustion, when the piston goes upwards, the fuel is compressed, so the pressure inside this combustion chamber increases. Now what happens if these piston rings are not provided? The fuel or the mixture may leak out to the downward area of the cylinder, so that may damage the cylinder, and it is also based of our fuel or our energy. So that's why these split rings or piston rings are provided. Now the second purpose of this is the improving the heat transfer from the piston to the cylinder wall, because the piston needs cooling for proper operation. We don't want that the temperature of the piston to increase beyond a certain level, that the metal may increase in size. Every material expands on increasing a temperature up to a certain limit, so we don't want that. Okay, now if these piston rings are placed over this piston, and here we have the cylinder wall, so the natural question arises here, that how much is the clearance between these piston rings and the cylinder wall, so that the fuel or that must not leak out. So we have to take into account 2 points. First point is, if we keep the clearance, small, what will happen? If the clearance is small, as the operating temperature of the cylinder is high, so what will happen? At a particular temperature, the uh, piston may expand and it may clog into the cylinder walls, so the friction will increase, and that will also result in the loss of energy. On the second hand, if the clearance is too high, if the clearance is increased if the clearance is increased, in that case also there will be losses, as the fuel that is present over here, that will drop down from this piston to the downward area, which is our crank case, so this when this this mixture drops or moves past this piston rings, this type of loss is known as blow by losses, because the mixture that is being burnt, that must be utilized to generate power, but when it leaks out from here, it serves no purpose of producing the power. So that is the loss that we don't want to minimize. Another point to be taken into account is that these piston rings comprises of 24% of the total friction losses of the total friction losses in the cylinder. Now generally in any engine cylinder there are 3 piston rings provided. So what is the purpose of using 3 piston rings? The upper 2 rings generally are known as compression rings. Why so? Because their purpose is of sealing, means they prevent the fuel from leaking to the downward area, that is the crankcase. And the lower piston ring, it is known as oil control ring. Its purpose is to control the supply of oil to the cylinder wall. The oil here refers to the lubrication oil, so it controls the supply of oil to cylinder wall. Now if we talk of the material of construction of these piston rings, these are generally made of silicon cast iron or silicon steel. These are generally made of silicon cast iron or silicon steel. The purpose of using these material is to make them smooth and brittle. Now a natural question arises, why brittle? Why not ductile or some other property? Now the ductility property is not desired in this piston rings case. Like if the material is ductile, then after some time it will undergo plastic deformation, and which will create a space from where the air fuel mixture may leak out. Again, that will lead to the blow by losses, that is that we don't desire. No, that's it for the piston rings. So now we will study the last part, that is the gudgeon pin, also known as piston pin. It is also known as piston pin. Okay, So firstly, the very first question arises is where it is located and what is its purpose. Okay. Okay, so here I have drawn the diagram to show where this gudgeon pin is located and how it is attached. So here we have this connecting rod, and these two things are known as circlips. Circlip. Now, and this is the needle sleeve bearing. Needle sleeve bearing, and this is our gudgeon pin. Now it is located beneath the piston. Now piston is somewhat like this. This is the top part of the piston. It is hollow, that you know. So now inside the piston, into this middle part, it is connected to the connecting rod. And how it is connected? The connecting rod is having the needle sleeve inside it, and this needle sleeve has the pin inside it, or the piston pin inside it. Now the piston pin is, now when these three things got combined, they form a thing like this, and at the ends these things may not pop out. So for preventing that, we have these circlips. When these circlips are inserting into this assembly, the this system becomes rigid and they generally don't pop out. So that's the purpose of these circlips. Now we are going to talk about what type of forces that it experience in that condition. Now if you look about the working of the cylinder, you will know that the piston moves up and down, and during its up and down motion, the piston pin, it experiences generally two types of forces. The one force is shear force. Now how the shear force acts on it? Now consider simply this as the piston, and consider this as the connecting rod. Now when the piston moves like this and this, so the connecting rod pulls it towards itself, or generally compresses it to that direction. So the tension that acts normal to the cross section is generally known as the shear stress or the shear force, and the force that acts at this direction, that is the compressive or tensile force, depending whether the connecting rod is moving upward or it is coming downward. For that purpose, if we talk about the material that is used here is steel, and steel also forged steel. Now what is the need of forging here? Forging is done to remove any type of internal stresses or internal defects that are left by forging. So generally heat treatment will also be required in this case. For external defects removal, what we do is known as machining. Machining is done for removing external defects, and for removing internal defects we have heat treatment. We will talk about this heat treatment process in detail in some later videos. Also you can see that it is being subjected to the fatigue loading condition. Now what is fatigue loading? Fatigue loading is a loading in which a particular type of force or stress is applied repeatedly or in a cyclic manner. So this is also, and under fatigue conditions the material generally fails before its elastic limit. That